Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.
Bonjour et bienvenue, hello and welcome to the AOR Apex Online Racing, I should say, round 8 here at the French Grand Prix. I thought I'd introduce the stream in French just to make use of the French degree that I have. So we're racing today at the circuit Paul Ricard, Le Castellet, and of course it's the first time AOR has ever raced at this circuit. Not the first time F1 has ever raced there, of course, but it will be a first for AOR this season. I'm joined, of course, as always, by Austin Knight. I'm Allflattious, of course, and I'm joined by Austin Knight. Austin, welcome to the stream, my friend.
Howdy, howdy. I don't know any French, so I'm just going to say hi and stick to English.
That's a good idea. So, in terms of the French Grand Prix, of course, the French Grand Prix has had a varied history. We're now, of course, at Paul Ricard, but most recently we were at the Manicourt circuit, and it says on the screen right there, of course, as you can see, Michael Schumacher holds the record for the most victories in the French Grand Prix in general. Now, the stream has just, the lobby's just loaded in the background right now, and I'm hearing potentially rain. I'm not sure.
It's pouring down cats and dogs.
Wow. Okay, we have a full wet qualifying session, which we'll be showing you in a minute. No, let's just continue with the track facts, though. One problem the French always seem to have is congestion in terms of traffic. Of course, we saw this year that there were major problems with congestion at the real-life French Grand Prix. So the tyres available. We better hope the wet tyres available. As we said, it's pouring down, but they do have the Ultra Softs, the Super Softs, and the Softs available for this round. Driver of the Day is something that's going on the top-tier streams. That's not something that we have to worry about. But just before we join the main lobby, I'm just going to take you through the current drivers and constructors standings for this season. So we have Nameless at the top of the table in the Ferrari with 104 points. We have Veloce James in second with 77 in the McLaren. Max AFC Toro Rosso with 70. And then we have Smeed with 59. Kimi Larson with 55. Fly-by-wire just 1 point behind with 54. And then we have Mr. Anchor in the Red Bull with 45. Muller in the Mercedes with 43. Then only 1 point behind is Hypers with 42 in the Williams. Then Matthias with 10 for the Red Bull. And as we switch now to the constructors, we can see Ferrari have a massive lead with 159 points ahead of Williams with 96, Mercedes 80, then it's 1 point back to McLaren, 1 point back to Toro Rosso, 2 points back to Aston Martin, 2 points back to Alfa Romeo. There are 6 points separating 3rd to 7th in this constructor standings. It is fairly mental. That's what Equal Cars does for you. And then we have Haas and Renault both tied on 23 and Force India on 19. So let's head into this apparently incredibly wet lobby, which will be appearing on your screen, hopefully any second now.
Welcome to Paul Ricard. Everyone's out on the full wet tires, so it's going to be a very interesting test of driver's skill, especially through Sector 3, since it's all that high-speed corners. But also, Sector 1, with those low-speed corners, turns 3, 4, and 5, that low little coming down from high speeds down to second gear, then back onto the straight. Those are going to be the high conflict areas, but Sector 3 is going to really make or break your lap today in this qualifying session.
Thank you very much for that summary, Austin. If guys in the chat, could you just let us know what the audio levels are like? Because the last time we streamed, and I'm sorry it's been a while since I've streamed this league, I am so busy in my working life at the moment that I do struggle to find the time, but I am able to stream this weekend, which is fantastic. But last time we had a few audio troubles, so just let us know in the chat, Austin, if you could monitor the chat for me, that would be fabulous, just to check whether audio levels are all good. Hopefully they should be. So we're on board now with Marco Krisman in the Renault, and just taking on board this very wet lap, as you can see right now at Paul Ricard. You can see how gentle he's having to be on the throttle by checking the green bar there, and I think he's actually, you can actually see he's actually on 0 ERS there, so I don't think he's actually currently on a fast lap. You can see he's moving all over the place. Let's have a look at Sohon though. Sohon has just started a flying lap, as you can tell by the amount of ERS he is using, so hopefully we will see how he goes on this lap right now.
Yeah, we sound pretty good.
We do, excellent. That is fantastic news. So, of course, I had a chat with a few drivers about strategy and about times expected for pole position, but that was assuming it would be a dry qualifying session. So that would be about sort of, you know, the 129, 128 is what I was looking for in a dry session. For a full wet session, though, I couldn't tell you. We might be looking at sort of mid-140s at a guess, based on the normal delta of the wet tyres. Oh, there we go. AOR Hype has just said a 144.8. That was fairly accurate, I'm not going to lie.
Fairly accurate guess of mid-140s.
Oh,
James puts another 144 up there. So everyone's pretty much sticking in with that second mid-144. But later in the race, later in this qualifying season, the track will have a formed dry line as Max just puts it a 143, so that time may drop a couple seconds, and I would say the pole would probably be around a 142, 141, if the track conditions keep improving to the end.
Yellow flags in Sector 3, probably just someone going out of the way. We are in Sector 3 now with Sohon, who's just coming through the final corner, dropping it down into first gear, and then trying to, not even getting on the full power until he hits fifth gear, coming out of the corner. Sohon's come in with a 45.8, and pole position, provisional pole has just been set by Drawmaster 99. Kimi Larson, of course, who we haven't seen for a long time in the league. He's been away doing esports, various things, and he's back with coming straight in with a 43.4 to be in provisional pole position.
Yeah, glad to have Kimi Larson back in the championship. Always great to see both the Ferrari guys battling out for the championship. Nameless has the lead, but this is probably going to be the main fight between both of the Ferrari drivers. It'll be the Red War, as some might call it, for out most of the season, with Nameless having the lead in the championship. But currently Ferrari is just very dominant, so hopefully this wet qualifying would put a little spanner in that
spanner in the
position.
works, I think I'm trying to say.
I'm American, I don't know these
that's just to be expected. So we're on board with Smeej right now. Smeej has been doing pretty well this season. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of time he puts on the board. He has had a little bit of traffic on this lap, but let's just see what he comes in with. As he doesn't drop into second gear, he shifts up very quickly into third gear to manage the wheel spin. Muller comes in with a 43.2, and Smeej goes in 6th place with a 44.0. So Muller comes in with the fastest lap now, 43.2.
Yeah, Muller was the car that Smeej was following, so I'm surprised that Smeej wasn't a bit higher, but what Smeej did by shifting up before that very low speed corner is actually a good strategy if you want to avoid spinning out. It'd be lower revs, but you do have more control of the car's back end coming out of the throttle, as he's in 5th gear on a corner that you would usually be in 3rd gear in the dry. And that is turn 6 exit, but he's going down the back straight. He seems to shift up much earlier in the wet than you would in the dry. I guess that is his tire life strategy and just keeping the car in control strategy. So interesting strategies by Smeej, but he made it work. P7.
Interesting, we missed Kieran Harrison coming in with a 43.7 to take 3rd place. So we've got a few drivers breaking in to the 43s. Be interesting to see whether this wet weather continues into the race or not. Of course, being commentators, we unfortunately don't have that information unless the drivers have elected to tell us. I currently don't have access to the drivers' comments. I don't know if Austin has heard anything.
I asked a few people. They didn't really get back to me.
I mean, they're pretty busy, let's be honest.
Yeah.
They've got a job to do. So we're on board, I think, with Matthias, who's currently the only man who is on a flying lap, I think, or the only man, he's certainly the only man not to have set a lap so far. I don't know if, Austin, if you can get up the sector times to see how he's doing compared to other drivers around us. He's about to get to the end of Sector 2 momentarily, so we can compare and see how he's getting on this lap. I don't know if you can bring that up on the race director for us.
Yeah, he's a personal best Sector 2 of a 31.256. His first lap that he tried was invalidated, so
well, that will explain why he's on. Kieran Harrison is retired from the session. I assume that's I assume that's a
Oh,
two people retiring earlier. Maybe Cam is just not. That's strange. Kieran maybe is comfortable.
I think that was an incident
between the two drivers.
Yeah.
Race director will help us to find that out. I might check it myself, just as Matthias is going to go across the line.
Terminal damage. Terminal damage.
Oh, a message has just popped up in our chat. In our group chat with the drivers, as Matthias just comes across the line now with a 45.1, which puts him in 14th. First victim. Oh, drivers are going out on the inters now.
Oh,
Hypers, VP Max, and Kimi Larson all have fitted the intermediate tyres. They're all currently in the pits, so they haven't yet gone out. As I say that, all three, oh no, they're in the pits at the moment. But perhaps the weather is going to ease off. Has it actually stopped raining? Let's go on board. Let's go on board with Veloce James just to see. No, it is raining, but that's definitely light rain.
Yeah,
it's definitely light rain. It's not heavy.
That we were seeing 10 minutes ago, but there is still some little small sparklets. So the inters might be the right choice, but we might be seeing a 1:41 pole time on the intermediates.
We will have to see, as we do have 7 minutes left. Honestly, I thought you'd move, given you were on the racing line at the braking zone. I think there's unfortunately been a problem with an error of communication between the two drivers. I'm not sure whether these guys sit in the Discord call whilst they're racing. When I was doing AOR, that was admittedly much more casual than this was. We tended to sit in a TeamSpeak or Discord call, so we could kind of inform each other whether we were going to be in each other's way. And so, unfortunately, there's been an error of communication between the two of them, and that has resulted in both of them getting out of the session. Kieran, of course, in a much better position than Cam, so we'll have to see how that goes. And that is something that will need to be sorted after the race in the stewards panel, as it is used for.
Yeah, so stewards going to have a bit of a field day today, I could say, during qualifying with that one. From what I can see from the Discord, Cam was off throttle trying to let Kieran through in the pits, and it's just that awkward pit entry. It's just...
Veloce James, 42.9. We've broken into the 42s. We say Nameless has a good lead in the championship, but Veloce James has competed in, he's competed in, I think, 4 or 5 races and has won 3 of them. So he is certainly a man to watch out for in terms of the championship fight, along with Kimi Larson, along with Nameless, and obviously a bunch of other guys that are going to be in the title fight as well. But Veloce James there straight on pole position. Just trying to find someone else who's currently on a quick lap. Austin, if you can help me out here.
Speaking of Kimi Larson coming through Sector 3 right now in first mode ERS, letting some drivers through, but he's about to start his full
He is about to start a lap,
on the first intermediate tires. Let's see how these compare.
Austin, can you get on the sector times and I'll read them out to you, and we'll see kind of what times he's doing compared to maybe the pole time of Veloce James. We'll just have a look. AK's been disqualified from the session for blocking the pit lane. Though it's not.
The pit lane has claimed its 3rd victim.
Though it's not showing. Oh no, he has, and he's now been disqualified from the session. That's very unfortunate. He's about to come out on the intermediates. That is incredible. Let's have a look then. So Kimi Larson about to exit the first sector. 28.625.
28.515 is his personal best. That is a new personal best for Kimi Larson, but he just invalidated his lap time for crossing.
Oh, there we go. So that's the end of that. Let's try and find someone else who's currently out on the intermediate tyres. VP Max is, and he's just about to set up a flying lap, I believe. Yeah, certainly. So I think we're just waiting for someone who is currently on a flying lap. They're all getting ready.
I believe Max is on a flying lap because he just had 2 personal bests right now.
Oh, interesting. Oh, no, yeah, he's coming out of the final chicane. He was on 2 ERS, so I was wondering. Here he goes across the line. It's going to be a 1/100th of a second behind Veloce James, an improvement of nearly 9/10ths on his personal best.
Great lap from Max. So the intermediate tires are the tires to go with 4:20 left in this qualifying session.
AOR Hyper's now on a flying lap on the intermediates. He's just started, so we'll go away from him for the time being. THM, are you on a flying lap? No, you're doing a time of 4 minutes. That is not going to be a flying lap. Let's have a look. Is Hypers? Let's see what Hypers does in the first sector. He's done a 28.6, so that's slightly slower. And there's a car off the track there, hopefully getting out of Hypers' way. And he does do so.
Across the corner just a little bit. That's what James did. He got invalidated his lap, but Hyper's not coming out of the 5th hot lap ERS mode, so he's still on his lap, riding on the curb just a little bit in the braking zone. I don't recommend that.
Not in these wet conditions, but these drivers clearly have good control. And let's have a look now and see what Hypers does. 28.6 for the second sector. I don't know what that's going to be like in terms of times, Austin.
It's currently on pace, but Hyper's going extremely wide, running into the Blues runoff area almost, but he keeps it in between the lines and is still on, running a 121 throughout turn 12.
I'd be surprised if this takes pole position, but it's certainly going to fly him up the order. THM retires from the session. I don't know if that was a crash or something else, because he's down in 16th place.
This will probably land him 3rd place, depending on this exit.
This is going to. I don't think he had the best exit out of there. Let's see what he's done. It's only 8th. It's a 43.7. I don't think he had the best exit out of that final corner, but maybe he's going to go on to a second run. I'm not sure, but either way, right now we got flags in sector 2 and 3 as
Jury is about to go into the pits there. Max to James, 0.009.
Well, it's 0.1, 971.981, but it is very, very close indeed.
It's 0.009 for me, for That's Max great. And James.
Well, I've got James on a 42.971, and then Max is on 42.981.
It's but same 0.009.
Oh, I see.
He switched to the leader.
Oh yeah, so it is. How very strange. But there are the gaps right now, as you can see. A second is splitting the top 9 at the moment. But let's have a look and see now as Matthias is about to set a lap. He's still on the wets, interestingly.
Ooh, James also still on the wets, thinking that this is the best tire. So the current pole sitter going out for another rendezvous on the wet tires for his final flying lap here in the session. I believe that is Max coming out of the pits right now on the intermediate. So it's a battle between wet and intermediates. Will James improve his time and keep pole position, or will Max take down James, or will somebody else have a banger of a lap?
Well, I'm on board with Smeege now. This could be quite a good test, actually, to see what the intermediate tyres truly are like. Let's do some more sector comparisons as he comes out of the... He's about to do the second sector split. You want to be at about a second. 28.5. 28.5 for the second sector. I think that's
his time.
Oh, has he invalidated it? Oh, Hypers goes into pole position. 42.6.
Hypers.
A massive improvement on his time. Jury is retired from the session. Of course, that's because we only have 40-odd seconds remaining. Muller goes to pole. 42.0. Banging lap time.
Right now, the times are falling down. Will my prediction of a 41 be pole position? It's almost there.
It is almost there.
We've got a few on his flying lap right now. He's coming through turn 11. So let's stick on James as he's controlling that car throughout those corners on those wet tires. Can he improve that time and put him a second faster to get up to pole?
Very odd as why he's not chosen to go onto the inters, as almost every other driver around him has opted to do so. We'll have to see whether it pays off or not as he's coming through the final corner now. 42.013 is the time he's aiming for. A little bit of a slide out of that final corner. What's it going to be? Across the line, no. It's not an... it's an improvement.
It is an improvement, but no position improvement.
In third place and still 8 tenths off the current
Max
lead
couldn't get out of Max got disqualified. He invalidated his lap, so he couldn't improve. But somebody...
Fly-by-wires improving by a second at the moment. So let's see what he does. A second would put him in P2. So let's have a look and follow him now as he's going to come towards the end of his lap right now in the Williams. A bit of a slide through that long left-hander. They're coming towards the final complex of corners now for Fly-by-wire, currently in P6 in this qualifying session. Time is up. Hyper's on pole, 41.9. So that's the time to beat. His teammate coming out of the final corner. Is he going to do it? Coming across the line now. Oh, yes. He has done! That's incredible stuff. Where's Kimi Larson?
141.901. Kimi Larson coming out into Sector 3. Has to dodge a bit of traffic coming into Turn 11. Kimi Larson wanting to break up the Williams party is on the intermediate tires. That Red Bull getting very close to him, but Kimi Larson keeping that car in
You can see how close it is with the top three. Is Kimi Larson going to slot himself in there? He's coming into the penultimate corner now. Let's see whereabout he's going to end up. I think Smeech just popped himself into 4th place there. 2/10 off the pace. Kimi Larson out of the final corner. Is it going to be a good run? Coming towards the line. It's Paul! 41.5. Very, very good time indeed.
Seconds ahead of the Williams lockout. No, Williams did get that lockout in Monaco. So they were going for another 1-2, but it's going to be Kimi Larson taking pole.
Fantastic lap, right at the death. Maybe track conditions were at their best there, and Kimi Larson comes in and takes the pole position. As you can see there on your screen now, we have Kimi Larson, Fly-by-wire, Hypers, both Williams is 2nd and 3rd, VP Muller 4th, Smeech 5th, Nameless 6th, the current championship leader, of course, and his championship rival, Veloce James, behind in 7th place. As I say, strange choice not to go onto those intermediate tyres. VP Max, Matthias, Kieran Harrison, Jury, Anker, Koldo, Soho in 14th place. Then we have Marco Krisman, THM, Cam, and AKE, who got disqualified from the session and will have to start from the back of the grid.
Yeah, that was your qualifying. But remember, if this is a dry race, expect most of the guys at the front to start on the soft tires or super soft tires. And
that looks bone dry.
And it is bone dry. So if you see anyone on the ultra softs, they're expecting to do something.
I mean, you could. I think it's a stretch to do ultra softs and softs, but I think the most sensible strat would be to go for a one-stop, start on the supers or on the softs, depending on where you are on the grid, and then switch to the other tire, depending on which one you started with. So either super softs to softs, or softs to super softs.
But also the start's going to be very awkward as well, because that was a wet qualifying. We did have a few drivers taken out due to other drivers' issues or just wet issues. So that was a wet qualifying. This is a dry grid. We're going to have a kind of wet pace and dry pace is kind of finicky around these places. But as we go on our formation lap, let's see what these drivers have fitted.
Let's see what they have fitted indeed. So that's the wrong thing.
Super softs tires all over.
Super softs except for Jury, Krisman, THM, and Cam.
Yeah, so everyone looking to go for that super soft compound. Jury, Krisman, THM, Cam might try for the reverse one-stop, go from a soft to a ultra soft tire.
I'd be very surprised, as they would get they may make some track position, but then they're gonna be holding up drivers, so they're just gonna end up losing time, I would have thought.
Well, these are fresh tires, so you don't have to deal with the fresh ultra softs, but the ultra softs don't last that long. They last about 6 laps here. So if they do that, they'll have to pit on lap 21.
And I think that's asking a lot from a soft stint.
They're going to have to go 20 laps.
And that's potentially asking quite a lot from one set of tires. I think most likely they will start on the super softs, maybe go to sort of lap 12, 13 maybe, or maybe a little bit less, maybe lap 10 or 11, depending on. I'm honestly sort of making an educated guess here, but
from what I've seen, it's about lap 10 through 14 the supers last. It's a very track. It's a very odd track with tire wear, but I believe 10 laps would be
and of course, yes.
start of the pit window.
And of course, it's even more strange, of course, as they're all starting on a fresh set because we had that wet qualifying. So, yeah, maybe instead of lap 10 or 11, we are going to be talking lap 12, 13. So, I don't know, maybe a few will go for the softs, the ultra softs. We'll have to see.
It works one way, it could work the other way.
It just depends on what the differential is between the pace between the softs and the super softs, what the gap in pace is between the two
but
tires.
Before the pit stops, you have to get through turn 1 and the opening lap, and that's what we're about to see as the drivers form up the grid.
We have Kimi Larson on pole, fly-by-wire, Hypers, Muller, Smeege, Nameless, James, VP Max, Matthias, and Kieran Harrison as your top 10. Watch for Veloce James, maybe he'll come through the field, and Nameless, of course, the championship leader. The two of them will be battling, but here we go. It's going to be 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we are away for the start of the Grand Prix here in France. Let's have a look and see what happens as we're going towards turn 1. We have Kimi Larson taking a nice lead into turn 1. Two Williams is going side by side. Fly-by-wire has kept the lead over Hypers. I don't think anyone's had any major collisions at the start of the Grand Prix. It seems that everyone's doing okay.
At all. I'm watching the back of the grid for those risky maneuvers. The biggest maneuver from Cam diving down the inside, but everyone keeping it just fairly nice in the backfield.
I think Veloce James might have lost an end plate on that front wing of the McLaren as he was trying to go out the inside of Smeege.
There is some carbon fiber on the track, so somebody did have some damage, but everyone just still keeping it fairly concerned and easy as they're coming into the chicane on the back straight.
And
Look at James diving up the inside.
Has passed Smeege. So the main winner off the start, I think, is Cam, who's gained 3 positions. Well, he's now gained 2 positions as he's dropped down back to P15. Kieran Harrison has done well, started from P10 up to P8. But Veloce James,
side by side.
Wow, look at them, two of them.
Each other.
Look at the two of them going side by side through this corner. I think James is just about to get there, but Smeege will have the inside line for this corner. And I think that's run James a little bit wide as well. Here we go on board with James. Is he going to be able to find a way past Smeege? Smeege leaves the door half open, but James is not wanting to take it at this point in the Grand Prix. It's very, very early days, of course.
Kimi Larson comes across the line first, followed by Fly-by-Wire, Hypers, Muller, Nameless, Smeege, James, Harrison, Max, Matthias, Soren, Kolno, Cam, Ake, Jury, THM, Marco Cruzman, and Mr. Anka. Nobody has gone into the pits, and we've had a clean start.
We have indeed, although Mr. Anka has lost 6 positions off the start, so maybe he did have a problem. We will have to see how whether we get that up later on in the race.
He does have a bit of front wing missing, but he is still driving, so Mr. Anka might have just spun around and we didn't get a yellow flag. But currently everyone keeping it clean. Let's take a look at Hypers closing in on his teammate of Fly-by-Wire as they're heading down the back straight. Top 4 all within a second of each other. Thank you, Alan T, for that little shout out in chat.
Let's have a look at Fly-by-Wire. Actually, he's getting in the slipstream of Kimi Larson in the lead, though I think we do have a move being made by Kieran Harrison on VP Max. VP Max going down the inside in this corner. Is he going to be able to make it work? They're going side by side now as they go through the long right-hander. Force India trying to hold it around the outside. They're still going side by side through this corner. Force India is going to have the inside. The last of the late breakers locks up.
But no, look at the battle behind them of Matthias and Soren. Both of those guys diving out. Matthias, I think, trying to bring it around the outside. They're still side by side coming through the tight turn 14, but Matthias diving up the inside as he slots ahead of Soren for P10 as Fly-by-Wire sets the near fastest lap. As DRS has been enabled, this is where the race really kicks off. Watch the front 3 right here. This back straight is going to be very interesting on what Fly-by-Wire and Hypers does.
Indeed so. They're both currently, of course, they're both starting on the Super Softs. They're both in the same team. They can't both pit on the same lap. There will have to be some form of communication between the two of them to see what's going on. Interestingly, we saw all the guys starting on the soft tyres. They're all now right towards the back of the field, besides Mr. Anker, of course, who had that incident at the start of the Grand Prix. So it appears the soft tyre runners will have to play that long game in terms of trying to get back through the field.
Give them 5 laps. They'll start moving back up.
That is the prediction from Austin Knight. 5 laps, the soft tyre guys will start moving.
Yeah, soft tires take a while to heat up, and also it's just start of the race. The higher grip tires are going to have the bigger advantage. Everyone's dumping the ERS. Everyone's in that high res trying to create a gap, as the front 3 have all created a gap from Muller.
Sorry to cut across you, Austin, but we have another battle with the 10th between Sohon and ERL Matthias. They both run wide, and then Sohon's forced off the track there. And we'll have to see how that goes. They're still going side by side through this corner. Matthias has the inside, and I think is going to make that move stick. Oh, and he locks up again. And there's no way for Sohon to get back through on that occasion. Great battling, though, for just 1 World Championship point.
Yeah, 1 point is all you need for a change of the championship table. Points mean prizes, and prizes mean points, but first you got to finish, so But if they're going to be battling throughout the race like this, I'm all for it. I love this stuff. As James has been given a 3-second time penalty. Very early to start picking up 3-second time penalties. That is not the kind of thing that you want to be picking up at this point in the Grand Prix, with 4 laps down and 23 more to go. Yeah, as they head down the front straight, the Williams driver still following Kimi Larson, not really making a move in the DRS zone, probably just saving fuel or anything. They might have underfueled the car. Veloce James straight up the inside of Smeej for 6th place on the using the DRS there. Very easy move for the McLaren driver. Of course, he'll have to work extra hard now that he has that 3-second time penalty, as if the race were to end now, he would drop down about 6 places. So of course, the gaps will increase as the race goes on, but he's got a lot of work to do now to make up for that 3-second time penalty. Yeah, this little group of 3, as I'm going to look back at Soren and Matthias, see if they're fighting. No, they aren't. Glad they're taking it kind of easy, as some might say. But Smeej, James, and Harrison, the battle for P6 right now. Even though James is at penalty, they're all sticking together pretty nicely, as everyone's actually pretty nicely single-filed almost within a second. So that's proven a very good start for most of these guys, as we're entering lap 5, as we should start seeing some very interesting stuff happening down that front straight if Fly-by-Wire can close that gap to Kimi Larson just enough. This is where you start turning down the engine mode, turning down the ERS, going to that race mode and not full things. But Kimi Larson diving down to the middle of the track. Matthias not sitting in the slipstream of Kimi Larson. Well, here we go. We could have an interesting battle here between 6th, 7th, and 8th. We're on board with Kieran Harrison trying to get the inside of Smeej. Is he going to be able to do it up the inside? He brakes very, very late, but does manage to get that car slowed down. That's a very, very nice move from the Force India driver, as VP Colo picks up a 3-second time penalty. But is Smeej wheel by wheel with Kieran Harrison going around turn 10? Smeej on the outside, sitting on the back of Kieran Harrison, sitting in that draft, but going around the long right-hander of turn 11. They're just going to slot into that group. A great move by James and Kieran Harrison. James slotting ahead of Keenan Harrison. Keenan Harrison diving up the inside, thankfully not causing any crash. But everybody just keeping a clean race, and that's awesome. Look at Ake as well, getting extremely close to VP Coldo, so we might see him move going to turn 1, depending on Ake's exit right here. Let's have a look and see on board with these two. Getting very close to the back of the Sauber. Ake's going down the inside, side by side. That's very clean racing between the two of them, and that move has been completed. THM picks up a time penalty, another 3-second time penalty. They are mounting up very early on in this Grand Prix. That is not what we want to be seeing, as Mr. Anker picks up one as well. So it's really not going fantastically well at the point in this Grand Prix. But let's go back on board with the top 3. We can see the gap now. Kimi Larson has half a second to Fly-by-Wire, who has 4 tenths to his teammate ERL Hypers. Is he going to get in position for a move down this back straight? I don't think he's quite close enough. He's not. Kieran Harrison has just moved up into P6. He's passed Veloce James. Once again, there seems to be constant battling. P6 appears to be the place to go if you want to see battling at the moment, as Kieran Harrison has gotten past Veloce James, and he has taken that 6th position. Yeah, don't expect James to take that lightly, as this entire pack of about 6 cars all just front-wing to gearbox with each other as they're just making their way through Sector 3. Thank you, Alan T in chat, for a good observation that Drawmaster is just pulling the entire pack behind him with that powerful slipstream down the back straight, just definitely carrying him. But these front 3 guys are going to be the ones to watch once the race goes on, and especially in the pit stop phase.
Oh, and then it's Allflattious James going again as past Kieran Harrison before turn 1. You can see the gap that these guys have to the top 5 is now 4.5 seconds. Here they go, they're going side by side once again. Let's have a look and see, and there goes Kieran
inside.
This is constant battling, and it's fantastic to watch, but what it means is these guys are falling further and further back from the guys at the front of the field. These top 5 can quite comfortably pull away. Nameless will be loving life at the moment, as he is out.
4.7.
He certainly is, and he's just made a pass for 4th place, so he's even more happy now, putting points, more and more points between himself and the closest rival to him, Allflattious James, who is, I think, if I can get my maths correct, I think there's about 30 points, or sort of 26 points, I think, between the two of them. So getting more points, more of a lead will be very, very good news to Nameless at the moment.
But someone who is loving this the most, Kimi Larson. He's been leading this race for 7 straight laps.
Oh, VP Max. Smeege is falling further down the order. Sorry to cut across you, but Max has moved up into 8th place. And Smeege is down to P9. It's not going well for the Sauber driver at this point. Of course, I can't remember where he started. Actually, let's have a look and see where he started. He started up in P5. He's now down to P9. Remember AKE, of course, starting from the back of the grid. He's now up in a P12, so he's done well to gain 6 positions.
James first into the pits, and he got a 5-second stop-go penalty, also followed by Soren into the pits. No penalty for Soren, but James also adding on to his penalties, as they are the first drivers to head into the pits on these super soft tires.
Mr. Anchor comes in and also picks up a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and THM gets another 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. So keep an eye on those guys who've just pitted. Of course, a couple of them do have penalties, but now we've got the gap to the leader for you. They do look quite a fair way behind, so they shouldn't be
Look at fly-by-wires for the lead. Sorry if I just
No, that's absolutely fine.
Somebody. But fly-by-wire trying to dive down the inside of Kimi Larson, but look at fly-by-wire again. This is the battle for the lead. They're side by side down the back straight going into turn 10, and it's going to be fly-by-wire taking the lead in this Grand Prix. Hypers was the second down, and that really slowed down Kimi Larson. So that was a strategic dive from the Williams team to enclose that group back up again, as we might start seeing the super soft guys go into the pits right now.
It is worth pointing out as well that Hypers did pick up a 3-second time penalty as well for, obviously, you know, track limits and the like. So that is something we also need to bear in mind as this race continues. None of the top 3 have gone into the pits. They start their 8th lap on these super soft tires.
Yes, they are going for a longer stint on these first tires, so that just begs the question of why were you going to the pits on lap 7? Soren, James, and Mr. Anka, all of them didn't have any damage. So do they might have want to get out of that, or are they going for a odd form of a 2-stop?
I don't know. Maybe there was damage. Maybe James was just getting annoyed at how much he was battling with Kieran Harrison and wanted to drop back and try and find some clear air. But we'll have to see if that actually pays off, of course.
As we're watching the top 3 going down the back straight, look at Hypers getting onto the curbs, losing the car just a little bit, but gaining so much ground on Kimi Larson as these 3 guys 2 seconds ahead of Nameless. You see the Ferrari of him and Bowler chasing down these guys in 4th and 5th, but these top 3 guys just been on another level so far today.
But if these 3 start battling, that may well draw Nameless, the current championship leader, into this battle. Small lock up from Kimi Larson. Kimi Larson's gone off. Kimi Larson has lost the car, getting up on those curbs, and that means he's dropped down to P3, as unfortunately just accelerating on those curbs even though it's not a wet qualifying session anymore, you still don't want to be doing that. Even
Nameless
in the
and Muller have just dived into the pits as well. So top three sticking out for another lap. Kimi Larson losing the car just a little bit as Nameless and Muller put on the soft tires. Another car has gone into the pits. That is Coldo. Has gone into the pits as well. Kean Harrison gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, but Kimi Larson, was that shot off to the right a sign that his tires are fading?
I think I would say no. I mean, the tires obviously are fading, but I think it was a simple case of putting too much power down while still being on the curb. So I think that's just one of those unfortunate things that happen. Sohan sets the fastest lap, interestingly, on the soft tires, or maybe Kimi Larson's tires are going off, because he's just done a big old lock-up into the Mistral chicane there. So maybe it is time for Kimi Larson to come into the pits at the end of this lap.
Look at the gap fly-by-wire has just pulled to Hypers. That's a 1 second already throughout half a lap after he and Hypers were, some would say, half a second. So I believe fly-by-wire is pushing as hard as he can, and he might dive into the pits right now, and Hypers is going for another lap.
We'll have to see. Let's stay on board with the race leader just to see what happens at the end of this lap. He's just coming through the final corner now. Is he going to dive into the pits, or is he going to continue going? He is going to continue going, and it's his teammate that dives in. As does Kimi Larson.
So fly-by-wire, your race leader.
Austin, I'm going to have to let you commentate for about 3 minutes, as I have to answer the doorbell, rather strangely.
All right. I believe we're going to be sticking on fly-by-wire, since that is a... as he's answering the door for some reason. But fly-by-wire leading. I got the gap to the leader to Drawmaster 99. 20 seconds. 23 seconds is the gap to him right now. He's aiming for 22 seconds if he's going into the pits and wanting to gap. But Drawmaster not having the best of exits, as you're watching fly-by-wire, the leader, as our camera operator and streamer of Nick. He's not come back from the door yet for some reason, and so we are all just watching fly-by-wire on his preferably in lap right now, as he's just making his way through turn 10. Everyone is just now thinking, when do I pit? Should I dive into the pits right now? It's 10 laps, which is what I was predicting. When should the time to pits? The soft tires are gaining pace right now, as we welcome back into the commentary box. Oh, fly-by-wire losing it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I've missed some things. I don't know. I think it was just... I thought there was... I had a ringing sound in my ears, and I thought it was my doorbell, but no, apparently it was just a ringing sound from the game. Very strange. Fly-by-wire pits. The leader pits.
It was my doorbell.
Oh, it was your doorbell.
Yeah.
Well, that's incredible.
I'm sorry.
So we got the top guys coming into the pits now. Let's have a look. Let's have a look and see where Hypers is. As of course, the leader fly-by-wire has just pitted. So let's see whereabouts fly-by-wire is going to rejoin compared to his teammate. He's coming through the final corner now. Where is fly-by-wire?
Fly-by-wire coming out of the pits right now on those soft tires. He's at the exit. Look at the momentum that Kimi Larson and Hypers is going, but it looks like it's going to be fly-by-wire still in the lead. That time from James.
It is comfortably fly-by-wire in the lead there, as you can see. So he is comfortably in the lead at this point. And you can see the guys that have stopped. Fly-by-wire has the net lead of the Grand Prix, as he is the first of the drivers to have made a stop in the Grand Prix so far.
But Hypers has gained a lot of time, and don't forget about Kimi Larson as they head down this back straight. Egg is still leading on those 11-lap-old super soft tires. But look at Hypers gaining tons of times. Ooh!
Fly-by-wire going very defensive. Oh, he goes right around the outside. That's incredible driving from Hypers, not to collide with his teammate there. Fantastic driving between the two of them, but he's into the slipstream once again. It's fly-by-wire, pulls out to the outside, but not able to get the move completed on this occasion. Oh, he's going to go up the inside, though, into the left-hander. Can he hold it?
Oh. The two teammates not giving each other any room right there. We might see a little bit of controversy as this pack of leaders is now 5 wide, but fly-by-wire.
Hypers goes wide.
I'm dying.
Austin's dying. I'm going to have to take over. Fly-by-wire has now got Kimi Larson right up his gearbox. Let's have a look and see what happens as they go down the front straight. Fly-by-wire is obviously in 7th place. Some guys have pitted. Who has pitted? AKE has pitted from the lead. So it is still Fly-by-wire, Hypers, and Kimi Larson are battling for 5th, 6th and 7th at the moment in this Grand Prix. You have your front 5 at the moment here in this race. Hypers, and Fly-by-wire, Kimi, sorry, you carry on.
Yeah. Carry on.
I certainly shall. So at the moment we have Jury in the lead, yet to stop, with Cam in 2nd place, DHM, Marco Krisman as the top 4. There is an interesting battle taking place between Veloce James and VP Max. They've been battling for a while, or nearly contact between the McLaren and the Toro Rosso, as here comes Veloce James down the straight. He's going to have DRS, but so does VP Max to smidge ahead. Is Veloce James going to be the last of the late breakers into the Mistral chicane?
Ooh,
no,
James
not
holding out
quite.
a little bit outside. Since all 3 of those guys back there had DRS, none of them wanted to risk a move, as Jury and Cam are having a little bit of a battle, or closing up of the lead. No gap by those guys yet.
It's not quite a battle. They're just getting close in the braking zones, but they're not. They're going to be about probably
Jury.
A lock-up from both of them, in fact. But let's have a look. Cam might have a chance down the straight here as we start lap 14 of this Grand Prix. Cam is going to have a great chance going into turn 1. Not getting into 8th gear so we can maximise the power. Braking down to 4th, and there he goes into the lead of the Grand Prix. But of course that's all relative, as he hasn't made a stop yet. Hyper setting the fastest lap is starting to catch up with these guys. Indeed, the net leader of the Grand Prix, yes.
Yeah, but there are 5 guys in this net lead pack, all on the same lap, old tires, 3, 2, 3, 4 laps. Nameless and Muller just sitting in the back watching this as championship leader behind his teammate Kimi Larson. As those 5 guys.
That's an important thing to point out as well. Nameless and Muller have now joined on to the back of this group. It is now, well, they're starting to drop back a little bit further, but it is now sort of a front 5 rather than a front 3.
Yeah, they dropped off, but once Hypers and Fly-by-wire, they just shot up back there, but they're sitting comfortable 1.4 seconds behind of this net 3-man fight for the lead. But unless Fly-by-wire and Hypers have a little disagreement, as Kimi Larson looking down the inside, Fly-by-wire flying off the track as Kimi Larson dives up to P6, and he's now looking for the net lead with Hypers. But
so I just missed that, as I was wondering why there was a load of people flying down through the field towards the back of the packs. But we have seen there, you can see Kimi Larson, Drawmaster 99, is currently in the net 2nd place, as NLE Jury has now come into the pits to take off those soft tyres, and Kimi Larson sets the fastest lap as well with a 32.5 on those soft tyres. I don't know why we constantly have a man waving a green flag at the first corner, to just remind, maybe to remind the guys that there hasn't actually been a crash in the out of the pit exit for a change.
They're used to the online ranked lobbies.
Ah, well, there we go. Well, they never stop waving the yellow flags in those, I don't think.
Yeah, it's just constant yellows. As Mr. Anke picks up a 3-second time penalty, but Jury comes out in last place.
Wow, what happened there? He's lost a lot of time. Maybe he was. Oh, did he have a 5-second stop go? Maybe he had to serve it.
I think he might have did. But that just shows how close everybody is to each other. That the leaders with a 5-second stop go penalty can end up in last place. This is one tightly packed field.
Oh my word, that was a shout and a half. Austin, can you do me a favor and check the penalties for kind of our top 5 and just see how many they've got?
All right.
Because I know there are quite a few involved. So obviously,
and Hypers are having a fight, by the way.
They are. That's why I'm on board with it.
Awesome.
Exactly. As Fly-by-wire getting very close to the back of Kimi Larson, just as we wait for Austin to find out that penalty detail. We'll stay on board with these top 3, the net top 3 of this Grand Prix. Also, if you find the information, just feel free to come across me at any point.
Hypers has a 3-second time penalty. From what I can see, Kimi Larson has 2 warnings so far.
Okay. Fly-by-wire, how many does he have? If
he doesn't have anything that I can see.
Okay, so we have a interesting. So Fly-by-wire currently in the net, possibly lead of these guys then based on penalties.
Kimi Larson is flirting with disaster.
Oh, Allflattious James is retired.
Oh, he went into the pit. He crashed into the pit lane.
Interesting, very strange indeed.
Oh, that is disastrous. That was my door.
I didn't even hear that time. Oh, but here we go. Good. Hypers and Kimi Larson battle for the net lead of the Grand Prix. Kimi Larson down the inside at the end of the Mistral straight. They're going side by side into the chicane and a bit of contact as Hypers goes off the track. Let's get back on board with him. He's going to sit in the slipstream this time. He's not going to take that line down, but his teammate Fly-by-wire is right behind him as well. This is going to be very exciting as we go into the right-hander. They're now going to slot back into single file, but Fly-by-wire has a good run, but his teammate blocks off the way through there. But Kimi Larson now holds the lead of this Grand Prix. As you can see, Marco Krisman is yet to stop on those soft tyres. Very, very interesting battle we have for this top three at this point. And Fly-by-wire, we just saw him run wide there as we were on board with him. He's now picked up a 3-second time penalty for that. Very, very exciting battles between these top three. And that now is the net top three as Marco Krisman pits from the lead, promoting Kimi Larson into first place, Hypers into second, Fly-by-wire third, Nameless is fourth, about a second off from this pack. VP Muller's fifth, Kieran Harrison a couple of seconds back in sixth, his teammate Soho in seventh, VP Max is eighth, Smeege is ninth, as Jury sets the fastest lap on some super soft tyres. Matthias rounds out the top 10. AKE is 11th, Coldo 12th, Cam, it looks like he's trying to shape up a move on Coldo here. There we go, let's have a look and see what the McLaren can do. Last of the late breakers up into 12th, Coldo down to 13th, THM 14th, Mr. Anker 15th, Marco Krisman 16th, who's just pitted, Jury 17th, and Veloce James, of course, has retired from the Grand Prix. Austin, are you still there?
Yes, I am. Something happened. It was just like, you went very robotic, and then I just got disconnected from the voice call. I'm still in here.
Oh, you're here. So okay, that's good to know.
That was weird.
It wouldn't be a stream with us without something weird happening. Coldo gets back past THM for 13th. We just stay on board, and that battle is ending now. We'll stick with these top three. Actually, let's just have a look and see what's going on. Has Muller got past? Has he got past Nameless? Yeah, he must have done. He wasn't always in fourth, was he? It was Nameless in fourth.
No, Nameless was behind.
Oh, was Nameless always behind Muller? Or have I just made that up?
No, Nameless was ahead of Muller. Muller was ahead of Nameless. The Ferrari was ahead of the Mercedes.
Excellent. So what we have determined is that Muller has passed Nameless up into fourth place.
Exactly.
At some point on that lap.
He is gaining on Fly-by-wire.
He is indeed. He's catching up, which is interesting because Muller has 2 lap older tyres. Fly-by-wire has the youngest tyres of these people in the top 5. So
yes,
very interesting
also
indeed.
Something that I want to point out in the chat by Drawmaster. From my good friend who also races in league races, but not in AOR. He says Drawmaster's setup is more tire heavy than the other drivers. So expect near the end of the race, Drawmaster to be struggling with his grip more. That's why we saw him shoot off to the left.
Interesting. So, because of course he certainly had trouble at the end of his super soft stint. So maybe he'll have trouble at the end of his soft stint. We will have to see. As we look further back, Matthias picks up a 3-second time penalty there in P10. As we have battles near the back of the field. Krisman 15th, Jury now moving up ahead of Mr. Anker. Of course, it's on those super soft tyres, but they're still battling the two of them near the back end of the field. Let's actually have a look at this one. Let's have a look at the back of the field. Oh, they're actually going side by side, the Red Bull and the Toro Rosso. And Mr. Anker gets that move done for P16.
Yeah, Mr. Anker making that move look very good, but I want to say one thing. Player 4 has entered the battle, and he is going by the name of VP Muller, as he has caught up a second within Fly-by-wire, and now has DRS to chase down this front pack. So Muller definitely in the fight and look for the lead right now.
Nameless appears to be struggling for pace. I don't know if it's the it's the tyres or whether he just can't quite keep up with these guys at the moment. But certainly, you're right, VP Muller has certainly joined the back of this this pack at the moment.
Yeah, Muller looking very, very comfortable, but I don't know what's happened to our championship leader of Nameless. I guess France is just not the track that he likes, or he's just trying to keep his car outside and just in with the white lines and trying not to get any penalties. But because remember, Hypers does have a 3-second time penalty. Kimi Larson has 2 warnings so far, so he's
does Nameless have a penalty? Can we confirm that?
Nameless, I think he has a warning.
So 1 warning, so he does have technically an extra chance. So, you know, think about it. Well, 2 extra chances, yeah, that's correct. So think about it. If you take 3 seconds, of everyone, he gets promoted up in a P2. So maybe it's not a bad tactic from Nameless.
So both Williams drivers have 3-second time penalties, as Hypers has got another warning.
Speaking of penalties, THM picks up another one down in 13th as we start lap 20 of 27. 7 laps to go here in the second. Paul Ricard for the French Grand Prix.
Yeah, Nameless has 2 warnings, and so does Kimi Larson.
VP Muller has picked up a 3-second time penalty.
So everybody except for Kimi Larson has a time penalty, so that's going to put up Nameless into P2 if the race finished right now. But we still got 7 laps to go, so keep your butts in your seats, because you don't know what's going to happen.
It is always worth bearing in mind as well that penalties are often something that does get contested in the steward's inquiry, so it may well not be the last we hear of this. Let's just let's have a look on board with fly-by-wire now as we're going through the Mistral chicane at the second half now, the Mistral straight. And it looks like he's not got the best run off it, actually. I thought he was going to try and make a move on his teammate, but he hasn't got the best run. So he's going to be sticking certainly in P3 for the time being.
Apparently fly-by-wire has damage, like light damage on the front left wing. Never mind, he doesn't. Thank you, Alan, for saying that he does and make me want to write a story about this. But fly-by-wire getting extremely close to Hypers. He does have very good tire management, and it has the freshest tires. But fly-by-wire, Kimi Larson, and AOR Hypers all getting very close to each other as they get on the gas down the front straight. All of them getting a little bit drifty and happy as they're entering lap 21 out of 27 here at Paul Ricard.
Oh, some late braking from fly-by-wire into turn 1. It's going to be these 3 all the way, I think. VP Muller's not quite there anymore. He's slightly off the back of these guys now. He's just about keeping in touch. That I don't know if he's going to have DRS on this straight. Actually, well, we're on board with him, so we will. If we stay on board with him now, we will see if he does get DRS on this straight. And it looks like he is doing. He is getting the DRS. But let's have a look ahead of him now, just to see what things are going on in this battle.
Hypers sticking to the back of Kimi Larson like glue. Fly-by-wire just sticking just farther out, just waiting for that fight between Hypers and Kimi Larson to happen, because you saw what happened when they started fighting. The pace of both of them just went down, just fall off a cliff. Both of us. Hypers looked to go around the outside or inside, but Kimi Larson defending that very nicely, as that fight might be happening very soon as fly-by-wire is closing up that gap once again.
As Hypers tries to find different angles to try and have a go at Kimi Larson, it then leaves the door open to his teammate as well. So it's going to be very, very exciting. So, as we're about to start lap 22, let's have another run through the order of the field. Actually, let's just check to make sure there aren't any major battles happening on the way to turn 1 between these 3. It doesn't look like there is. So we have Kimi Larson in P1, Hypers 2, Fly-by-wire 3, Muller in 4, still now losing off the back of this pack. He now doesn't have DRS. Nameless 5, the current championship leader, who's going to get a lot of points. Speaking of him, he's just picked up a 3-second time penalty, but he is going to get loads of points over Allflattious James, who of course is retired from this round. Kieran Harrison 6, Soron 7th, Max 8th, Smege 9th, Matthias in P10. Watch out for Cam though as we come towards the end of the Grand Prix. In those super soft tyres, depending on how quick he is as we get towards the end, he could do very well. But remember how much Kimi Larson struggled on 9-lap
move for the meet. Hyper's diving down the inside. Sorry to interrupt you, but Hyper's slotting ahead of Thrustmaster in the braking zone as they slam on the brakes. So Hyper's a little bit of mind games with Thrustmaster as he made the move on the straight, but during the braking zone, he kind of slotted his car ahead of Kimi Larson. I don't know if you caught that on stream, but no, Hypers is now your leader as he's leading around the corner of turn 11. But look at fly-by-wire closing in on Kimi Larson now.
Are we getting to the point now? I was about to say, talking about, oh my word, where's fly-by-wire going? But I was about to say, are we getting towards the point now where Kimi Larson is going to start having problems with his tyre wear? I was going to say the same thing about Cam, to be honest. As we saw Kimi Larson struggle with 9-lap-old Supersofts, and Cam's going to have to take them to about lap 11 in terms of age.
Well, remember, they're all going to be struggling with tyre wear. Fly-by-wire is the lowest tyre wear person here, but they are, I'm just going to say it, it's full on swords and shields now. It's not going to be worried about tyre wear or anything. They're just going to battle it out for 4 remaining laps. And I'm going to be honest, penalties or not, this is going to be one fight for the lead.
This certainly is indeed. I think everyone has now a 3-second time. No, apart from Kimi Larson, I think everyone now has at least a 3-second time penalty in that top 5.
There goes fly-by-wire. Oh, he actually was trying to sell a dummy to Kimi Larson. Kimi Larson is not in the market for buying. He is in the market for Hyper's back wing.
Is he going to be able to make the transaction? As we're going to go through this right-hander, Hyper's going out as wide as possible to try and carry the most speed through this corner. Maybe that's why he's getting a couple of track extension warnings. He runs a little bit wide. Kimi Larson now gains a bit of time on the Williams driver, but he's not quite close enough. Hypers goes wide again. Now he is kind of close enough to think about shaping a move.
Fly-by-wire losing his back end again. Same turn 12.
Hypers is all over the place now, struggling with tyre wear. I think Kimi Larson is gaining in every single corner. He's not going to be quite close enough down this straight, I think, but he may well have a chance to sort a move out on the Mistral straight, the long back straight that we're going to have as we get onto lap 24 now. There's only 3 more laps to go. They're going to be thinking about going hell for leather now, as it's all or nothing as we come towards the end of this Grand Prix.
Now, don't count out the man who's been out of this fight this entire race. He's been sitting in the back. He's been watching this fight. He's been, I don't know if steadying or just trying to keep up pace with these guys, but Muller has brought himself back into this lead picture. And if these 3 guys are fighting hell for leather on the last lap, you might see Muller try to gain a few positions as Kimi Larson dives down the inside, going for the lead. Oh, it's going to be Hypers holding him out. Kimi Larson going around side. They touch. He pushes Hypers into fly-by-wire, who now takes the lead. They're 4 wide on the back.
They are all over the place. We've got fly-by-wire in the lead. VP Muller has gone off the track and has got a time penalty. He's now into 3rd. I don't even know what's going on. It is all over the place.
The front wing of Kimi Larson, pushing him off the track just a little bit. I don't think any damage happened, but fly-by-wire is now in the lead, followed by Hypers. VP Muller in 3rd. Kimi Larson falls down to 4th after that insane held by leather overtake attempt with 2 laps to go. This is going to be one crazy move as Muller and Kimi Larson are kind of holding each other up as Kimi says, hey, that's my place. Who the heck are you? And Muller saying, I'm Muller, baby.
Oh, he's going to go around the outside into turn 1. Is he going to be able to hold it? Let's have a look. I think Kimi has done.
Kimi Larson
P3 for the Swedish driver. Very nicely done indeed. Now, VP Muller did pick up a 3-second time penalty during that crazy 4 wide moment. Whether he's actually going to keep that penalty, he's most likely going to contest it, as I'm not quite sure where else he was supposed to go, to be perfectly honest. So he may well contest that in the steward's inquiry. But fly-by-wire now has a 2nd lead over his teammate, who has a further 2nd over Kimi Larson. The 2 Williams cars are now going to fly away towards the end. Remember, they need to get a 3-second lead over Kimi Larson, who I don't think has a penalty.
Kimi Larson does not have a penalty, even though he did go off the track in that 4-wide craziness overtakes thing that I'm going to be remembering for the rest of my, for the rest of the season. That's going to be overtake of the year for me.
We'll have to see if it pops up on an overtake of the week somewhere in the, basically somewhere. Just bearing in mind Kieran Harrison, who's getting onto the back of Nameless now. This could be an important move for the championship. If Kieran Harrison, he's certainly within a second. He's within about 7/10 of the championship leader Nameless, who's currently sitting in P5. And Kieran Harrison in P6 does have 1 lap fresher soft tyres than Nameless, so we could be in for a battle then towards the end of the Grand Prix there.
Yeah, Kieran Harrison looking very good. Having a bit of lag, actually. I just saw his car just jump back, way back behind Nameless, but still sitting ahead, 1 second behind of the Ferrari, as Kimi Larson is just trying to close that gap to Hypers and Fly-by-Wire. We got 2 laps to go. Is this going to be the finishing order? Or will there be another crazy battle for the lead, or has it all simmered down?
We will have to see. The gaps are now fairly wide in the between the top. Well, I say fairly wide, it's less than a second. That's about the widest it's been between the top 4 so far in this Grand Prix. Fly-by-Wire does lead from his teammate Hypers in second, who has now brought that gap down to half a second. Smeege is making a move for P8 against Sohon. They're going side by side through the chicane. Smeege has got a great exit and now takes P8 from the Force India, but the Force India is not going to take that lying down. Let's see what Sohon can do. Can he get back with Smeege? He's going to be pretty close to him. Is he going to have a go on the inside of this long right-hander? Matthias is very close behind as well in the Red Bull, but they're not quite close enough to shape up a move at this point.
Had a little bit of lockup. Soren just trying to close in on Smeege, but they all are just separating out just a little bit. I want to give you a insight on how close this entire field is. First to 14th are all within 20 seconds of each other. So
they're within a pit stop. It is incredible stuff. Fly-by-Wire has now started the final lap of this Grand Prix and has a lead of over a second over his teammate. So I don't think his teammate's going to get DRS down this straight. We'll just double check as we go on board with him now.
He won't.
He does not have DRS down the straight, so Fly-by-Wire should be fairly safe. Kimi Larson not quite close enough, I don't think, to make a move. Kieran Harrison, he's not close enough either. Let's have a look. Matthias could be close enough though. Let's have a look at him. Is he going to make a move down this back straight on Sohon? There he goes. He pulls to the outside. Is he going to be able to make a move out, break him into the Mistral chicane? He gets the car slowed down. What a maneuver from the Red Bull. Very, very nicely done indeed.
Great
Let's go.
job from Matthias. Look at Cam, and that is not happening on your screen, I bet.
In Cam, no, I was going to go back on board with the race leader, but oh my God, the 9th, 10th, and 11th, they are all battling side by side, and Cam goes up the inside for P9. Fantastic stuff, but I am going to go back on board with our race leader, who is about to become our race winner.
Going down the front straight.
Oh my word, Hypers loses out of the final corner. Does Kimi Larson get past him?
But it's going to be Kimi Larson taking the win via penalties, followed by Fly-by-Wire, Hypers, Nameless, Muller, Harrison. Who's going to take 7th? It's going to be Keane here. Oh,
I would not bother doing the order yet. There's so many penalties everywhere. I would not know where to go at this point. At the moment, we have Kimi Larson as the race winner by 0.3 of a second over Fly-by-Wire. Hypers is 3rd, Nameless 4th, VP Max 5th, VP Muller 6th, Smeege 7th, Sohon 8th, Kieran Harrison dropping down to 9th with that penalty, Matthias rounding out the top 10, Cam in 11th, Marco Krisman 12th, AKE 13th, Coldo 14th, Jury 15th, THM 16th, and Mr. Anker, who is yet to finish, is currently in 17th, just coming through the final corner now. Unfortunately, first lap contact with the Red Bull, and as he weaves across the line and tries to crash into the wall, and does successfully crash into the wall.
And Mr. Anka also got a fast lap, but all the praise and glory goes to the Ferrari driver of Kimi Larson for taking a extremely close win at a extremely entertaining French Grand Prix here at Circuit Paul Ricard.
So it's going to be interesting, as I say, for the championship fight. We will have a look at the results and see how many points Nameless is going to gain over his championship rival, Veloce James. But it was all pretty close. There probably will be a new championship rival as we go, as we go into the next round of the season. But the full race results are on your screen now. Austin, do you want to take us through them?
All right, our results is Kimi Larson taking the win, followed by Fly-by-Wire Hypers finishing out the podium. Nameless, championship leader, 12 points gained on Veloce James, finishes out in 4th, followed by Max and Muller in 5th and 5th and 6th. Muller falling down from 4 places to 2nd. Smeej finishing in 7th, Soren in 8th, Keenan Harrison in 10th, and Uriel Matthias finishing out the points with a crucial point in 10th. Cam in 11th, Marco Krusman finishing in 12th, jumped up from 15th to 12th right there. Ake jumped up from 18th to 13th. Good race by him. Coldo, not the best race, finishing down in 14th. Jury, not the best race for him. He started in 11th, finished down in 15th. THM had an okay race. Mr. Anka started 12th, finished 17th, and James unfortunately crashed in the pit lane. I don't know why he was going into the pits, but what a crazy race. Everyone was within a second of each other. They were all drafting and racing as hard as they could, and some people in the chat are saying, this is the race of the season. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to have to agree with you. This was, so far, the race of the season.
It was.
Remember,
a very, very...
It's round 8.
It is round 8.
It's round 8 out of 21, so...
There are many, many races yet to go, but it has indeed been a very good one. Thank you very much, everyone, in the chat for hanging out with the stream. Alan, thank you very much. It's very nice to for us to get such fantastic comments. Thank you very much, Alan, indeed. We are going to call it there. Guys, thank you very much. I would love to have a couple of chats with the races, but unfortunately, I am up very early tomorrow morning. I'm up at 5:30 a.m., which is a ridiculously early time. So I
have to get ready for the AOR North American races, which you can watch at, well, Apex Online Racing here. It's also at 8 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. I don't know what time that is in UK time, and I'm not even going to attempt that. But it's going to be the NA Dream Team, which is a great way to end out your day on Apex Online Racing.
So make sure you stick around for the North American races later on in the day. If there are any other races that you like to watch and you haven't caught up on yet, they'll all go up on the YouTube channel just after their streams are finished. They're always going to be there for you, which is very nice to see. As I say, thank you very much once again for watching this stream. If you would like to support either myself or my co-commentator Austin, my YouTube channel is in the description, and both our Twitters are in the description as well. Austin, I believe you do stuff on Twitch, but I've forgotten to put the link in. I'm so sorry. I will certainly endeavour to do that for other streams. But as I say, thank you very much. It's been a great race. The championship is getting ever closer. God knows what the Constructors is going to look like going into the next round. There were 6 points between about 5 teams. It's just incredible stuff. Thank you very much, as I say, for watching once again. I've been Allflattious. Austin has been alongside me. Thank you for watching once again, and goodbye.
Y'all have a good night.